Who loves you? Yes, I do. Who's so special? You're so special. Yes, you are. You're my babies. I can't wait to haul you. I'm going to haul you today.
Hi, my name's Bea. Welcome to my channel, Mama Needs to Read Romance and say sweet things to her books. That's normal, right? Welcome to my first book haul of 2024. We have historical romances that I have been going crazy about. Today we're premiering them. All of these are used books. The most I paid for any is 75 cents. Some I paid as little as a quarter. This is a great time for me to tell you that all of the books are listed and linked in my description box. We are going to start with my latest historical romance obsession, Elizabeth Hoyt. I have some interesting stories to share about her Maiden Lane series in particular, which I've just started reading recently. Some of you may remember that in a recent book hunt, I found two different versions of the very first book in the Maiden Lane series, and I couldn't decide which one to get. So I went with the newer one because I'd seen that more on Goodreads, and then I realized something with some of the other books I got in the series. This is just the first book, okay? But guess what? Here, this one, it had me faked out because it had a stripe here and not a cutout part, and it's not cut out. So I thought, oh, it's one of those fake stepbacks. But guess what? It actually is a step back. I don't know why they chose not to cut this part out, but get ready for one of the most gorgeous stepbacks. And wait, there's more. So here we go. I love the drama of this stepback. Spanning 2 pages also, which, oh my gosh. Then we come to book 2, Notorious Pleasures, with another gorgeous step back. I love this so much. And this is one of my favorite rakes here, Griffin, and Our Lady Hero. So yummy, so scandalous, so much fun. And then we come to the third book. I actually gave this 6 stars. Oh my gosh, it was so insane. Scandalous Desires. This one has another yet gorgeous step back with River Pirate, Charming Mickey O'Connor, and Silence, that's her name. And the two of them, oh my gosh, the opposites attract, the tension, the slow build, the yumminess, there's danger. Oh my gosh, it's so perfect. That's why I gave it 6 stars. And this step back absolutely does it justice. So I have 2 books in the Grey Court series by Elizabeth Hoyt. This series is a total of only 3 books, but it follows 2 families. One caused the ruin of the other. So they're out for revenge, enemies to lovers, but obviously we're gonna find so much more. I cannot wait to read these. We have book 1, Not the Duke's Darling, and book 2, When a Rogue Meets His Match. And you better believe I'm on the lookout for book 3. Okay, this one seems bonkers. This is book 1 of the Prince's trilogy, and we have a woman who needs money. She finds an earl who's already run off 2 of his other secretaries. She thinks, okay, this is absolute perfection. I'll work for you, even though you're grumpy, and I'm sure she's sunshine. What I find fascinating about this, and makes the plot a little bonkers, she discovers that he wants to go visit a brothel, and then she decides, unbeknownst to him, be the woman that can fill his desires and also help herself out in the process. What? How does he not know? I don't know. I have to read this. Could I be more excited about this one? So this is book 3 in the Legend of the 4 Soldiers series. So obviously we have 4 soldiers back from the war. They're trying to reconcile with what life is now. This one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Let's look at the step back. It's another hidden one. Oh my gosh. She's there to be his housekeeper, and she's able to tame this beast, but her secrets might come back to haunt her. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. Speaking of fairy tales, legends, all of that, let's talk about Karis Michaels and her Awakened by a Kiss series. I have books 2 and 3. They look so magical. I was so taken with them. The thing that I love about this series is it's all about secondary characters in fairy tales finding their own happily ever afters. Okay, this is so fun. It's like Peter Pan. Her name is Tinker, like Tinkerbell. She knows everything about travel. She knows many languages, and she's decided just to work at this travel agency in Mayfair. When a duke shows up at her door, he needs her help because his name, by the way, is North, like the North Star. He needs her help traveling to Iceland to rescue his cousin from Nordic pirates. This sounds so perfect for winter. And I love what it says. All it takes is faith and hope and a little bit of trust, as opposed to pixie dust. I actually just got goosebumps. Anybody else? I'm getting goosebumps again. We have one of the ugly stepsisters from Cinderella getting her own happily ever after when she sees the error of her ways. She finds love after being caught in an embrace, which starts a scandal, of course. But I just love the idea that one of the stepsisters could get her own happily ever after. And I need to find the first book in this series, which is this. All right, show of hands, who would like to swoon? Okay, let's do it. I've got Virginia Henley, folks. Some of the most gorgeous covers and stepbacks. We're gonna go through them right now. We've got the Dragon and the Jewel. He's a Norman knight. He's called the Dragon. She's the jewel of the family. She's a princess, and he wins her in a fight. He needs her ultimate surrender. She doesn't really want to give it to him. We're looking at this gorgeous cover with the gold foiling. The raised letters. Look at the spine even. Oh my gosh, it's gonna look so pretty on my shelves. And I love the flowers in the back. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous. And it's book 2 of the Medieval Plantagenet series. Does this book have a nice 6-pack in it? Absolutely. I couldn't help myself. Yes, you're welcome. Look at this. Again, oh my gosh, so gorgeous. We have a woman, she's betrothed to his brother. He's a prince, he's a knight. He's been seeing her in his dreams, so he has to steal her away. Oh my gosh, I can't find anything I don't love about this stepback except for this. We can't have it all, right? Okay, I love this, but I'm confused. And we're gonna look at this together. We're gonna figure this out. This is Insatiable. It's another tale of a maiden who goes on the search for adventure and a knight who finds her. I just noticed this though, and I didn't notice this when I bought it. Let's talk about this. Is this a cat? It looks like she has a cat tattoo on her buttock. What's going on? Her name is Cat. Does she have a tattoo of a cat? What's happening here? Maybe it's a birthmark. Okay, I found this super fascinating. It's called Undone by Virginia Henley. It's a standalone. We see a corset on the front, and then I love the story that's being told here. He's taking it off. It's becoming undone. I love the storytelling aspect of the cover and the stepback. She is supposedly this beautiful daughter of a high-ranking lord, but actually she is nobody. From Ireland, she's putting up false pretenses. There are men falling at her feet left and right. The only one that she's actually interested in discovers her secret. And we can look at the back cover too, because I love how they create like a portrait here. And then we've got a beautiful flower. Not that you didn't figure that out on your own. Okay, moving on. We're going to continue the drama, the magic, the glamour that is gorgeous stepbacks with these 3 babies by Shannon Drake. Okay, again, I have something to say about this. I don't want to ruin it, but I find something funny, and you and I are going to look at this together. So we have Knight Triumphant. This is book 4 of the Graham Clan series. We are in Scotland. We have these gorgeous knights. And in this book, we have a knight who takes an English woman captive and then also captures her heart. But there's something I need to say. I love this. I love the castle in the background, but does she look a little mature to you at all? This is giving me Designing Women. What is the name of that woman from Designing Women? It really looks like her. And I feel like she looks a lot older than him. I mean, I'm not complaining. Okay, I read this and I was like, what? Oh my gosh. Blue Heaven, Black Knight. We have the illegitimate daughter of King Henry II and a knight. They fall in love, but he's supposed to be doing the king's bidding. What is going to happen? It looks fascinating. Here's the other neat thing. So we don't have a step back, but get ready. We have, first of all, a really interesting back cover. Fighting and battles, and there's the castle back there if you can see it behind all the text, but then get ready. You're gonna go crazy. So we have a step back in the very back that, guess what, is a postcard. Isn't that crazy? I think that's really neat. This one I thought was gorgeous too. Princess of Fire. This is book 1 of the Fire series. There's only 2 books in the series. This one was written in 1989. The second was written in 1993. So I have a feeling she's done with the series. We also see the same sword and flowers on the back as well as the spine, which I thought was a really neat touch. And then of course, we're gonna look at the step back. This story, not surprisingly, is about a Norman warrior who rescues a princess and love ensues. I love the castle in the background. I love the colors. It's a little blurry. And I'm not just saying like on your screen. It's also just in general blurry. Have you ever bought a magazine or a newspaper and the pictures didn't quite line up and it's sort of messed up? I find it fascinating. Did you know that Heather Graham is the same person as Shannon Drake, which is why we're talking about her right now? This is another Civil War type of story. The ones that she wrote as Shannon Drake are obviously more medieval, but now we're in America hundreds of years later. We have a Confederate medic who finds love in the arms of a Union woman who apparently has powers of clairvoyance and healing. She is magical and he finds magic in her arms. This promises to be an epic story. And I love the step back. I love the cloth here. And look how gorgeous this bed is. Oh my gosh. I already own quite a few of the Mackenzie's Florida Civil War series. This is book 5, so I'm glad to add it to my collection. True confession time, I have not read Katherine Coulter yet, but I have fallen in love with her books. We're going to talk about these right now as we ogle some gorgeous stepbacks and covers. The Sherbrooke Bride series is quite long, and I already have some of the books in the series, but I was really excited to get even more. We have book 3 and book 6 of the series. Get ready to look at these. Oh my gosh. So what's interesting about this is considered to be book 3 and the final book of the English Regency Bride trilogy, which I guess is embedded within the Sherbrooke Bride series, which I found really interesting. First of all, let's look at this cover. This is gorgeous. It's giving me 80s notebook Lisa Frank vibes, right? And then, oh my gosh, you haven't seen anything yet. Look at this. This is like a painting. I mean, it's just gorgeous. All the detail. Oh my goodness. And we have young Sinjin. She's only 19. She becomes enthralled with a gentleman across a ball in London one day in her first season. He is in need of a wealthy heiress. He's from Scotland. He has a big castle. And so she approaches him and then they get married and she ends up in his big old drafty castle and befriends a ghost. It sounds so cute and interesting. I cannot wait to read this. I love this so much. The Scottish Bride. This is supposed to be book 4 of the Bride series. Now it's a series. And this, again, she's like, it's the final book. What are you talking about? And this is book 6 of the Sherbrooke Bride series. This is so confusing. Anyway, I love this so much. It's so sad that in the reprints, they only have this cover. You're missing so much of the fun here. This is his 10-year-old daughter. She comes with him. He just finds out that he inherited a drafty old castle in Scotland. He's a widower, and this woman is apparently the worst, but she needs his protection because maybe nobody else likes her too. I don't know. It's obviously enemies to lovers. Again, this looks adorable. I love it so much. So this is the 5th and final book of the Regency series by Katherine Coulter. This blew me away. First of all, we're oogling, we're ogling, we're going gaga over at this. We're going gaga, really? No, we're not. We're not doing that. No one's doing that. We're opening this now. We're forgetting what I just said because check out the drama in this. This is epic. This was originally called Lord Harry's Follies. She loved these characters so much, but she really needed to change everything up. So 15 years later, she revisits it, rewrites it, and feels like all of her characters, who she's acting like are real people, which is so cute, are so much happier now that they have a story that's actually worthy of them. Lord Harry is actually Henrietta, a woman. She's been pretending to be a man because her big plan is to find the man who killed her brother in Waterloo, challenge him to a duel, and not until he's dying at her feet is she going to reveal her true identity. Unfortunately, when she finally finds this man, Jason, I think everything gets turned on its head. I have got to read this. I have 3 of the 7 books of the Medieval Song series. Let's get into these. Katherine Coulter, you're so confusing. This is supposed to be the final book of the Song trilogy. It's the 4th book of the Medieval Song series. Why are we doing this to ourselves? I love this art. We also see gorgeous art on the back cover. And then there's more. Look at this. Again, it's like a painting, and I love how they've done the edges here. We have a sword coming out of the edges. It's just fascinating how they choose to do this. We've got lots of action. We see a castle. It's just gorgeous. I'm gonna stop saying gorgeous. This apparently really hinges on having read the first 2 books of the trilogy. He's apparently an actor, an adventurer, and a master of disguise, and he meets his match in our heroine. It looks really interesting. Oh man, this is super cool. This is book 6 of the same series, The Valcourt Heiress. This woman is one of the few left in this castle when a knight returns to be a baron of the castle after he's fought in a war. The castle is dilapidated. It was set to ruin by a man who was there looking for gold that is apparently hidden in the castle. This woman is the illegitimate child of a priest, apparently, that was there, and our hero together try to set the castle to rights while also discovering the mystery surrounding the gold. Looks super interesting. Here's book 6, The Penwith Curse. There's no step back, but I still found this to be absolutely gorgeous. I feel like the stripes really make the raised lettering, the gold foiling, pop. We see Marin here. There's a curse apparently on the lord who comes to claim the keep that he's been granted as a reward for all of his fighting. Not only that, he's supposed to get her hand in marriage, but apparently the curse is probably going to ruin what's to come. Oh my gosh, as I'm talking, I'm seeing the color playing on the foiling. Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. I have books 2 and 3 of the 3-book series, supposedly. I don't trust you, Katherine Coulter. How many books is this series actually going to be? The Baron series. Let's glance at these step backs while we talk about these books. Oh, I had to say that. Obviously, that's what we're going to do. I don't know. Sorry. All right, bonkers plot alert, everyone. I hate to tell you while we're looking at this gorgeous step back because it is beautiful. It's so beautiful and it's so wintry. It's perfect for this time of year. If you like this summary, let me tell you a little bit about this. So she is almost assaulted by her brother-in-law. She runs into the snow before the assault can actually happen. She's almost dying and he takes her. He tries to bring her back to health and then he's compromised her. She doesn't want to get married. She turns him down. But then she proposes marriage to him and she has a giant dowry. So he's really excited. But then she finds him in his mistress's house on the point of indulging. I don't know. This is another one that Katherine Coulter rewrote years and years later, and she feels like the story is so much better for it. It was originally titled An Honorable Offer, and now it's just The Offer. Yikes. Maybe. I don't know. What? Okay. This is book 3, The Deception. I just have to start with what I'm confused by. It says that you're going to see some of the same characters from the book The Offer and hear more about the famous cat races of Southern England. Okay, I don't understand. But let's look at this gorgeous, gorgeous step back. Oh, but look, okay, so this is raised. And then check this out. It's in the back as well. I love it. But let's look at the step back while I talk to you about this one. Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. Look at this. I adore this especially. You never see a heroine just pensive looking off. This is so beautiful. And you get this sense too that their relationship is different. It's not just like a clinch cover. He's holding on to her. He's a widower. He has a child. He hires her as his nanny. She is supposed to be a widow, but she's really not. She's a 19-year-old virgin. He's trying to figure her out. And again, we see a story that Katherine Coulter didn't like enough in the beginning. And so she rewrote it and she feels like it's so much better now. I'm really fascinated by this, especially because I feel like this step back is so unique. How fun. Now let's talk about another author for whom I've completely fallen in love with her books. I haven't physically read her yet, but let's check out these books. Oh my gosh. They're gorgeous. Oh man, this looks so amazing. What I find so fascinating about this is it's like a diamond encrusted golden bird that's flying called Bold Angel. This is a standalone. Oh my gosh, look at this. How insanely beautiful. And again, I'm getting sort of wintry vibes. I love the fire. We've got a fur. This is a woman who is trying to deny a man love. He had rescued her as a knight many years ago, but then he took her family's lands. She has to marry him for some reason. He starts to fall for her. But then the question is she a traitor? Is she being loyal to him or not? It's a story of vengeance, intrigue, and soul-searing love. Not my words, that's from the summary. But it sounds good, right? So this is book 2 of the Clayton series. I actually already own book 1. My daughter's obsessed with it because it's a completely gold cover. This looks insane. We have a man who is seducing this woman, not because he actually has interest in her. He believes that her father is a murderer and he's trying to get to this man. But in the process, he winds up falling for her. But what happens when she finds out what he was up to in the beginning? It looks really interesting. Whoa. Let's talk about Heart of Fire, which is book 2 of the Heart trilogy. This is intense. We have a woman who believes her sister's suicide wasn't really that. So she goes to her sister's supposed lover's castle to infiltrate it and determine whether or not this man was the father of her daughter's illegitimate baby. Obviously, it gets complicated. More so for the fact that apparently someone out there does not want our heroine to uncover the true situation surrounding her sister's death. Wow. Here comes another kind of crazy plot. Fanning the Flame. This is book 3 of the Flame trilogy. I love all the drama on this step back. We have a woman whose protector, I guess she's been living with him as his ward, but she's an adult. He is murdered. So she flees into the arms of another man who vows to protect her. But obviously, whoever murdered her father figure is out to get her. So this looks exciting and romantic. So here are 6 authors I had not ever heard of before, but was so taken with the step backs or covers or plot, I had to grab them. Let's talk about them right now. I have never seen a cover with a woman in a black gown before. Beauty in Black by Nicole Bird. This looked fascinating and I thought it would be really fun to have it out at Halloween. We've got a full moon as well. We have a widow, which is why she's in black. She is going to be a chaperone for a young woman who is looking for a man and unwittingly falls for the man that she is supposed to be helping to chaperone. He also falls for her, but apparently there's something else going on in the background, a danger that threatens everything. And it's not just that poor gal that was hoping for a chaperone. Oh man, this one looked so insane. I had to grab it. Marlene Susson's Midnight Bandit. We have a woman who is so inspired by a Robin Hood-esque figure, Gentleman Jack, who steals from the rich and gives to the poor. So she decides that she's going to be like Jack too, and doesn't realize one night when she goes to rob Lord Morgan Parnell that he actually is Gentleman Jack. He's really furious until he realizes this is a lady, and then he's sort of intrigued. But I gotta read the end of this to you. But Morgan's desperate attempts to save her plunge them into a wild fire of betrayal, murder, and royal treason, and send them both soaring on the winds of a passion that promises to fulfill all love's fantasies. This is so cool. And is it just me, or does our actual Gentleman Jack look like Patrick Swayze? Right? Okay, I was so taken with this, I had to grab it. I'm gonna read you the back. I normally don't do that, obviously. But we've got the Prince Catchers series, and this one's called I Married the Duke by Catherine Ashe. Lisa Kleypas says she's fantastic, which is more than enough for me. I mean, I've got a whole Lisa Kleypas shelf, which is too deep, by the way. Let's talk about this one. 3 very different sisters beguile society with their beauty and charm, but only one of them must fulfill a prophecy, marry a prince. Who is the mystery Prince Charming, and which sister will be his bride? On the way to marry a prince in a castle, a lady should never, number 1, bribe an infuriatingly arrogant and undeniably irresistible ship captain. Number 2, let him kiss her senseless on a beach. Number 3, battle thieves at his side. And number 4, exchange wedding vows with him even under the direst circumstances. But daring, determined Arabella Caulfield isn't just any lady, and Luke Westfall is no typical ship captain. He's the new Duke of Lycombe, and to defeat a plot that could destroy his family, he must have an heir. Now he knows just the woman for the job, and he's not above seduction to turn this would-be princess into a duchess. How about this one, Susanna and the Scot by Sabrina York? He's challenged to a competition, this Highlander, if you couldn't tell, to kiss 99 women, which he succeeds in doing, and also succeeds in getting banished because of doing that. One of the women in particular, out of the 99, he was really enthralled by. She's just a farm girl, but she's not willing to be just another notch in his belt. He's got to prove to her that she's so much more than that in this story, and makes me want to use some hand sanitizer. Okay, so I'm not really sure about this, but I was fascinated because here we have a cover. First of all, it's hot pink, which what? And she's pregnant, which I've never seen on a cover before, which I found interesting. And then we've got this beautiful step back. I love the lines here. First he teased her, then he tormented her. Finally, he tamed her. We are out west. We have an arrogant gunslinger who chases her all over Texas and Georgia, trying to tame her, but she doesn't want to be tamed. Somehow she's pregnant. I don't really know. Also, there's a line that I find very cringy, which is, she fought the arrogant stranger struggling to resist his raw masculine virility. There's also, from the first time he saw her, he swore he would take her to his bed, claim her innocence, and bring her to a woman's natural fulfillment. What? I don't know. Might not keep this forever. Okay, fall is my favorite season. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. Look at how gorgeous this cover is. It's raised as well. The gold foiling. I'm just going to keep saying that over and over again. And this is obviously not gold, but you still see the leaves. I just found it so beautiful. And then look at this step back. I actually already shared this in the fall on Step Back Saturday over on Instagram. Oh, it's just so beautiful. And I didn't even notice initially that there was even more here in the leaves. I just found this to be so beautiful. The plot doesn't seem too gripping. We have a man who needs an heir, but then falls for the woman that he just thought he would use to get his heir that he needs. It doesn't read very fascinating, but I'm going to enjoy displaying it every single fall, for sure. This was so cute. I haven't read Kathy Maxwell yet. Everybody's telling me to do it. I have to do it. Look at this step back for the Duke that I marry. This is Spinster Heiress novel, and I love this. They say spinster heiresses don't need to find a man. They are perfectly independent, and I just love that. But look how cute, and look at her smile. I mean, both of them. Oh, it's just precious. There are so few step backs and covers that feature smiling. He wants to marry her. They're going to do a marriage of convenience, but he has bigger problems. He has an estate that's falling apart, so they're going to work together if they can get along. It looks like they do. So cute. Oh man, this looks so fun. Julia London, A Royal Kiss and Tell. This is part of the Royal Wedding series. And this is a very contemporary looking step back. It looks like they just took this picture. She wants to destroy him. So she's been secretly making sure that things are published about him that aren't true in the papers. This unfortunately is compromising his investigation into the highest ranking officials in the British government. He needs her to help him get into high society. She's willing to help him despite the fact that she's also secretly destroying them. It looks like more intrigue than you can shake a stick at, and looks like so much fun. And let's look at the cover one more time because it's beautiful. Love the gown. This is interesting. Joe Beverly, who I always see alongside Mary Jo Putney. The Rogue's Return makes me think of old ship art, if that's what you want to call it. And then, I don't know if you noticed, in the background, we see our couple. It's so cool. The more you look at it, the more you notice. I just love it. But we have a gentleman who is forced after a duel to marry a woman whose last name is Otterburn. Yikes. Anyway, they don't really like each other. They just sort of have to marry. But then they wind up in the wilds of New Canada, having to fight side by side on land and sea, and he discovers what a brave and incredible woman that she is. So they fall madly in love with each other. It sounds really cool. I was beyond excited to grab the first book in the Clan Kendrick series. I've heard from so many of you how incredible this series is, and now I have all but the 6th and final book. I cannot wait to get started. If you've read the series, tell me what you thought. I gotta get into it. It's gonna happen soon. It's gonna happen. Okay, this is so cool. This is book 1 of the Remember series by Mary Balog, which was just published recently. The 3rd book in the series was actually published yesterday as I'm filming this, January 16th. Always Remember, Ben's story, which just gave me goosebumps. I actually talk more about it in my upcoming winter releases video if you want to learn more, but let's talk more about the first book in the series, Remember Love. This looks incredible. We have a gentleman who didn't realize that his family was a bunch of traitors until he was an adult, and then he called them out because he loved his country so much. He was banished and then fought against Napoleon in Waterloo. He's now back, and a woman that he loved deeply before he was forced to leave is still there, and the question is, can they find the love that they once had? It looks really incredible. I also snagged Sophie Jordan's Too Wicked to Tame. This is book 2 of the Darings series. We have a woman who is desperate for money, and she shows up at his doorstep one day soaking wet. She's hoping that he will marry her. He doesn't know if he can be tamed or if she can be tamed. If anybody can be tamed, they can do it together. It looks fun. I've really been wanting to read Sophie Jordan, so I couldn't help but snatch this up for 50 cents. And for my last little segment, I'm going to gush about authors I've already read and loved, and am now so excited to have even more titles by them. Let's talk about them now. Of course, I snagged book 2 of the Scandalous Gentlemen of St. James series, which everyone seems to love. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really looking forward to doing it. Let's glance at the step back and look at the wallpaper in the back. It really makes everything pop. I just love it so much. There are 2 books in the Rogues and Roses series, and I have the second one, just wicked enough. We have a penniless Marquis who auctions off the only thing that he has of value, his title, to her father. She says, yes, they can get married, but she's not going to bed him until he can prove his love for her. Well, he decides he doesn't really believe in love, so he's just going to seduce her. But maybe something else will happen too. It looks so yummy. Okay, here's another what? This is book 3 of the Hellions of Havisham series, of which there are 4 books. We have a woman who is apparently a fortune teller. She decides to marry this much older man who's apparently gone mad after the death of his wife. So she agrees to marry him and help him, but his adult son reads the fine print and decides to pretend to be his father and take her. I don't think he trusts her. It looks really crazy. I can't wait to read it. I rarely see Cat Sebastian books when I'm looking at used bookstores, but I saw this and had to snap it up. It's book 1 of the Seducing the Sedgwicks series. I love the beginning of this. I love the beginning of the summary. Some of Ben Sedgwick's favorite things: helping his poor parishioners, baby animals, and shamelessly flirting with the handsome Captain Philip Dacre. Say less. This sounds precious. Everybody Loves the Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne. It's the first book of the Victorian Rebels series. I enjoyed that book as well. So I was very excited when I found book 5, The Scot Beds His Wife. I love the way they describe the series. They're rebels, scoundrels, and blackguards, dark, dashing men on the wrong side of the law. But for the women who love them, a hint of danger only makes the heart beat faster. Our heroine apparently dressed as a man in the Wild West, and now things are about to get a lot wilder with our Scot. I enjoy Sarah MacLean. She's difficult to find in the used bookstores and library sales, so I had to scoop this up when I found it. A rogue by any other name. This is book 1 of the Rules of Scoundrels series. I now have every book in the series except for book 2. I love the way they describe this series. I'm gonna look at my computer, forgive me. 4 scandals whispered about in ballrooms across Britain. 4 aristocrats exiled from society, now royalty in the London underworld. 4 loves powerful enough to tame the darkness and return these fallen angels to the light. And this is the first book in that series. I am now desperate to find book 2, One Good Earl Deserves a Lover. Someday it's gonna happen. Speaking of authors that are very difficult to find, Joanna Shoup, I have completed my Wicked Deceptions series with book 2, The Harlot Countess. Now I have all 3 and I'm so excited about it. The tagline for this series is fascinating to me. Can a bold-faced lie lead to everlasting love? One by one, the impetuous heroines in the Wicked Deceptions series intend to find out, each in her own unique way. I am just so intrigued and I cannot wait to get into this series. Last summer, I fell in love with Erica Ridley and her Wild Winchester series. It's a found family of orphans who all have special skills and they work together to right wrongs. And in the process, each of them finds love and it is just beautiful. So I really enjoy it and I've really liked Erica Ridley. This is the first full book in the series, The Duke Heist, and my hope is to collect all of the books in the series. Well, there you have it. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I have even more books already to share that had not been waiting around for so long. I'm going to be doing plenty of book hauls in 2024. Be sure to join me. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is that you're reading, whether you got it in a haul or not. Until next time, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.